Mercy was sent to the rescue. Chapter 1. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson have a pig named Mercy. Each night they sang Mercy to sleep. Bright, bright, bright is the morning sun, sang Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson. But brighter still is our darling one. Dark, dark is the coming night, but oh, our Mercy shines so bright. This song made Mercy feel warm inside, as if she had just eaten hot buttered toast with a great deal of butter on it. Mercy liked hot toast with a great deal of butter on it, but when Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson kissed her good night and turned off the light, Mercy will become dark, very dark. And Mercy does not feel warm and buttery toast inside anymore. She feels afraid. One night, after Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson sang their song about the sun, kissed Mercy good night, and turned off the light, Mercy decided something. Mercy decided something. Mercy decided what she would be much happier if she wasn't sleeping alone. And so Mercy got out of her bed and got in the bed with Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson. And she snuggled up between them. Mercy felt warm inside, as if she had just eaten hot toast with a great deal of butter on it. Chapter 2. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson and Mercy were all in bed together. They were dreaming. Mr. Watson was dreaming of driving a very fast car. Vroom, said Mr. Watson in his sleep. Vroom, vroom. Mrs. Watson dreaming about buttering toast for Mercy. She buttered one piece and another piece and another piece. Have some more, dear, Mrs. Watson said in her sleep. Eat up, yum yum. Mercy was dreaming about hot buttered toast too. In Mercy's dream, hot buttered toast was piled high on her paper blue plate, and Mrs. Watson was buttering still more. It was an excellent dream. Mr. Watson said, "Vroom." Mrs. Watson said, "Have some more, dear." Miss Mercy snuffled and chewed on in her sleep. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson and Mercy were all busy sleeping that they didn't hear the bed crack. They were also busy dreaming that they didn't hear the full moon. Boom! Chapter 3. Boom! A hole opened under the Watson bed. Crack! The Watson bed fell into the hole. Mr. Watson woke up. Mrs. Watson woke up. Mercy woke up too. What the? Said Mr. Watson. Oink, said Mercy. It is an earthquake, said Mrs. Watson. It's the end of the world. Nonsense, said Mr. Watson. But he did not sound very sure. He sounded frightened. Mercy, however, she was not frightened. Mercy was hungry. Oink, said Mercy again. She moved to the end of the bed. Boom! Crack! The bed fell a little farther in the hole in the floor. Don't move, shouted Mr. Watson. Don't move, shouted Mr. Watson. Whatever you do, don't move, Mr. Watson. And Mrs. Watson and Mercy held very still. Mrs. Watson started to cry and exactly what we must do, said Mr. Watson. We must call the fire department. They will rescue us, but you said we should not move, said Mrs. Watson. How can you call a fire department if you cannot move? Mercy recalled her lovely toes filled dreams. She wondered if there was any toast in the kitchen while Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson was arguing. Mercy hopped off the bed. Boom! Crack! Look, said Mrs. Watson. Mercy had escaped it. She is going to find help, said Mr. Watson. She is going to alert the fire department. Mercy left the bedroom at a gallop. She was hurry. She was on her way to the kitchen. She looked for some toast. Chapter 4. In the kitchen, Mercy sniffed the table. She sniffed the kitchen counter. She sniffed the floor, but there was no toast. There were not even crumbs of toast. Mercy's stomach rumbled. Disappointment. Boom! Crack! Help us! Mrs. Watson called. Mercy thought very hard. Where could she get a snack? And the answer came to her. Baby Lincoln always had sugar cookies. Baby Lincoln lived next door, and Baby Lincoln likes to share. Mercy took the kitchen doorknob in her mouth. She turned it. Help! Mrs. Watson called again. Sugar cookies, said Mercy. She stepped outside. Chapter 5. The Lincoln sisters lived next door to Watson. Eugenia Lincoln is the older sister. She has many points. One of Eugenia's points that pigs should not live in house. Eugenia often says, listen closer to me, baby. Pigs are furry animals. They belong on farms. They do not belong on houses. Yes, sister, said Baby. Baby Lincoln is the younger sister. She is the baby of the family. Baby agrees with everything Eugenia says. It is her sister. that way, but easier that way, but shortly. Baby has a point of her own. Baby a point that is the mercy is a good company. At the Lincoln sister house, Mercy looked into baby's window. She could see baby sleeping. Mercy pressed her snout against the window pane. Oink, said Mercy, but baby did not hear her. Snuffle, said Mercy, but baby did not wake up. Mercy tapped her hoof against the window. Baby sat up in the bed. Who's there? She said. Baby saw Mercy's snout pressed up against the window. A monster, shouted baby, a monster in my window. Mercy shook her head. Sister, shouted baby, help, help, a monster. Eugenia woke up. She didn't put on her teeth. She did not put her glasses. Eugenia went straight to the phone and called the fire department. There is the quiz is when you gluten natural at 52 Deco Drive, and said Eugenia Lincoln, come immediately. And then Eugenia put on her robe and rushed to baby's room. In her appointment, Eugenia Lincoln was very good and in a crisis. Chapter 6. What is going on here? Asked Eugenia. There is a monster outside, said baby. She pointed at the window. That is not a monster, said Eugenia. That is the pig from next door. Mercy, said baby. Eugenia shook her first. In my point, said Eugenia. Pig belong on farm. Yes, sister, said baby. Eugenia knocked against the window. Get out of my yard, shouted Eugenia. She shouted at Mercy. Oh, sister, said baby, don't yell at her. You hurt her feelings. She doesn't have feelings, said Eugenia. She's a pig. Oh, said baby. I'm sure you're worrying, dear. I'm not worrying. Eugenia said, I'm never worrying. I know a pig when I see one. Eugenia squirrel. She pressed her nose against the window pane. Mercy stared at Eugenia. Eugenia stared at Mercy. Pig! Shouted Eugenia. She turned and ran out of baby's room. Oh dear, said baby Lincoln. Oh my. Chapter 7. Eugenia ran to Mercy. Mercy heard disaster. There is going to be a chase. Mercy loved chase. She let Eugenia get very close to her. Oink, said Mercy, dashing away. Get out of my yard, shouted Eugenia. Oink, oink, said Mercy. She ran in circles. She kicked up her heels. No pig allowed, Eugenia shouted. Oh, sister, said baby, please be careful. A sun siren wailed. A fire truck pulled into the Lincoln sister driveway. Ned and Lorenzo got the truck. Do you think that is an emergency? Ned asked. Could be, said Lorenzo. Ned and Lorenzo said, you never know with this job, said Lorenzo. You are right, said Ned. You never know. Chapter 8. Ma'am, said Lorenzo to Baby. Did you call the fire department? Oh dear, said Baby. I did not. But Eugenia have called. Who's Eugenia? Asked Ned. My sister, said Baby. Is that her? Asked Lorenzo, the one chasing the pig. Yes, said Baby. That's her. Baby and Ned and Lorenzo watched Eugenia chase Mercy through the yard. Lorenzo cleared the throat. What was the emergency exactly? Said Ned. I thought I saw a monster at my bedroom window, said Baby, but it's not a monster. It was Mercy. Mercy, said Lorenzo. The pig, said Baby. The pig who lived next door. I see, said Ned. Eugenia does not care for Mercy, said Baby. In her open pig alone on farms. There's something to be said for that point, said Lorenzo. Ned nodded. Help! Shouted Robert. Help! Help! Help us! Do you hear that? Asked Ned. Somebody is in trouble, said Lorenzo. Let's go! Chapter 9. Ned and Lorenzo went through the calling for help. They went inside the Watson house. Help, Ned! Ned and Lorenzo looked up. They saw Beth hanging out of the ceiling. They saw Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson holding on to the bed for the dear life. We are saved, cried Mrs. Watson. Of course we are safe, said Mr. Watson. Mercy had the fire department. She's amazing, said Mrs. Watson. She is unbelievable. She is a full-time wonder, said Mr. Watson. Ned and Lorenzo ran upstairs. They picked up Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson. The Watson's bed sighed loudly and cried all the way to the floor. Boom! Mr. Watson, look at the horror the best has to be. I have always believed the family in the fire department, said Mr. Watson. As have I, said Mrs. Watson. As have I. From outside the Watson house came a squeal. Gotcha! said Eugenia. Chapter 10. Ned and Lorenzo, Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson all went outside. Eugenia was sitting on the ground. Her arms were wrapped around Mercy's neck. Her cheeks were resting on Mercy's back. Eugenia was breathed very loudly. This pig, she said, was on my property. We heard that pig, said Mrs. Watson. You would prefer that you call her a poor dumb wonder, said Mr. Watson. After all, she did save us. She's the hero. She's a pig, said Eugenia. She started to cry. There, sister, said Baby. She went over to pat Eugenia on the back. Mercy yawned. She's very tired. I guess that it, said Ned. Yep, said Louise. Our work here is done. Wait, said Mrs. Watson. It is almost for breakfast. Oink, said Mercy. What's right, breakfast. That's right, breakfast. And Mrs. Watson, said Mrs. Watson. She kissed the top of Mercy's head. She looked up at the fireman. Do you boys love toast? Chapter 11. In Watson house, around the Watson kitchen table sat Eugenia Lincoln and Baby Lincoln and Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson and Ned and Lorenzo and Mercy. Of course, she was the head of the table in the seat of the horn. And in front of her favorite blue plate was a very tall stack of hot buttered toast. A toast, Mercy, said Mr. Watson, holding up his glass of oranges. A toast from darling. Oh dear, said Mrs. Watson. A toast with toast to Mercy, said Baby. In my opinion, said Eugenia, pigs should not be toasted. In my opinion, pigs do not belong in the kitchen table. To our heroes, said Mr. Watson, where would be without Mercy? Yes, said Mrs. Watson. Who would have saved us? I can imagine, said Ned. Me neither, said Lorenzo. They all clinked the glass. Mercy had another piece of toast. Chapter 12. Outside the Watson house, the sun was rising. First, the sun was red and then orange. It rose higher and higher. Inside the Watson house, Mercy was lying on the couch. She was getting ready to take a nap. Bright, bright is the morning sun, sang Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson together. But bright is our porcine wonder. Mercy smiled. She closed her eyes. She was asleep before Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson even finished the song. Bye bye. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, please.